Hello guys, welcome back. Today I've got a Magicka Sorcerer PvP build for you. This is quite an overpowered build, to be honest. It uses dual wield on the front bar to achieve a particular set combination that's very difficult to achieve otherwise. And it boasts a very high max Magicka pool, lots and lots of survivability, and very high burst damage as well. As always, Magicka Sorcerers are very mobile as well, and it's just a blast to play. Yeah, so let's just start off quickly by getting into the sets. So we are running on the front bar a Nirnhoned Mace of Ancient Grace and a charged Mace of the Crafty Elfique. So Ancient Grace gives us, on the 2-piece Max Magicka, another 3-piece, a lot of Max Magicka, and then the Crafty Elfique, once again, is just lots of Max Magicka as well. We have the 3-piece and the 5-piece respectively active just on the front bar, and we aren't able to do this with a lightning staff. We have to use dual wield for this in order to have the pieces only active on the front bar. You'll see in a second why that's important. We're then running a Restoration Staff of Wretched Vitality, defending with a weapon damage enchant on the back bar. Wretched Vitality is the best sustained set in the game. You can back bar it, it's incredible. Helmet of Wretched Vitality, Impen Tristat, Cuirass Reinforced Tristat, Pauldrons Well-Fitted Tristat, Crafty Elfic Sash, Impen Tristat, Gloves Impen Tristat, Breeches Well-Fitted Tristat, Shoes Impen Tristat, and then we're running 2 Triune Jewelry of Ancient Grace, and then 1 Death Dealer's Feet Swift. And this gives us even more Max Magicka as we stay in combat. Now, the problem is Ancient Grace only comes in jewelry and weapons, and in order to have 3 pieces of this active on the front bar and run Death Dealer's Feet, we need to use dual wield, and that's the way we get about it. Because we need to use Crafty Elfique on the front bar and we're not allowed to use any Crafty Elfique jewelry pieces, it does mean that we need to run 4 light on the body, but Max Orc is actually one of the few classes that can very easily get away with running multiple light pieces. Normally in PvP you want mostly heavy or medium, just because there's so much damage out there, but Max Orc can absolutely make up for that. Getting onto our character sheet, unbuffed, we are sitting at 50k Magicka, 31k health, and nearly 18k stamina, with 1k Magicka recovery. We are a high elf on this build, and we are running the Mage Manda Stone and the Artem Pickled Fishbowl as our food. You can also use Bystat food as well. The difference is completely minimal. We are mostly running Tristat potions, but we also have this particular version of the Essence of Immovability. This is Immovable, Stealth Detection, and Magicka. Okay, moving on to our skills. We'll start off on the back bar. So because we don't have either of our main sets active on the back bar, we're missing about 5k worth of Max Magicka on the back. So we don't actually run any skills that scale with our stats on the back bar. We do have Haunting Curse here as the first skill on the back bar. The reason that we have this here is because we actually will be on the front bar by the time it ever procs, so it's fine to have this here. This is our Delayed Burst. It's very, very powerful, especially on this build, fully buffed. The tooltips are incredibly high. Hurricane is our armor buff. It also does quite a decent dot in a large area around us. It gives us a bit of speed. It also gives us a major and a minor buff, which means that with a single button press we can activate our Wretched Vitality. Then we also have Dark Conversion on the back bar. This is a way for us to get heals back, health back, and also sustain. It lets us convert stamina into Magicka. We actually end up having spare stamina most of the time because as a high elf we get a lot of Magicka back from our passive. The Spell Recharge passive gives us 625 stamina basically every 6 seconds, which is very good, and it means that we, along with the sustain that we get from the Wretched Vitality, we have plenty of stamina, which we can then convert into Magicka and health. Bound Aegis is a passive ability that we keep on the back bar. Just by having it slotted, we get 8% increase to our max Magicka on both bars, and we also get minor protection and minor resolve active all the time as well, which is very important. And then crit surge is here on the back bar as well. This is a way for us to get lots of healing over time. Our hurricane ticks every second, and it's very effective at giving us these critical hits, even though our critical hit rate is quite low otherwise. It's also our source of major brutality and sorcery, and it lasts a good 33 seconds as well, so you don't have to cast this too often. And then Energy Overload is our back bar ultimate. We use this and then switch to the front bar, and because we're running dual wield, it means that we can't really do light attack damage from distance, but with Overload we can. And this is a very powerful ability. Just having it available is really useful, especially against more tanky targets. Moving on to the front bar, our main offensive ultimate is Dawnbreaker of Smiting. This is very useful. It's got even unbuffed, it's got a huge tooltip right here, and it's a very nice thing to combine with Curse. Our main defensive ability is Hardened Ward. We're outside of PvP right now, so it's got a 22k tooltip, but in PvP this is still 11 to 12k tooltip, which is fantastic. This is getting nerfed next patch, rightfully so. It's absolutely busted right now, but even then, what we're losing is our heal will go from about 8.5k to about 6.5k, which is still plenty. Crystal Frags is our main burst ability, and it's got a 33% chance of turning into crystal fragments. Let's just see if you can get a quick frag proc just to look at the tooltip. I wonder if that needs to be done in combat. It probably does. But essentially, yeah, this ability has a 20 plus k tooltip, fully buffed. Yeah, not many things survive this. Our main spammable is Shocking Soul. This is 11k shock damage plus another 2.6k shock damage on our spammable. Having a 13 plus k spammable is just incredible, and it also gives us major breach, which means that we don't have to run elemental susceptibility. Streak is our gap closer, our stun, our mobility tool, amazing skill. And then this is a flex spot. I've been running Endless Fury as a execute ability, which you can put on a target in anticipation of getting them down. The other option that is quite good, there's two other options that you can use here. So you could run the Major skill here. So you can use this to have an additional damage shield in an AoE and support your teammates. I would take the one that gives you the reduced damage taken for 8 seconds and also the crit buff, because otherwise we don't have a source of crit buff. The other option is just to put Inner Light on. Inner Light gets a bit silly. It means that unbuffed we're sitting at 53k max Magicka, which goes up to nearly 57k when Death Dealer is fully procced. So yeah, up to you. I'm quite liking Endless Fury here at the moment. Next, I just want to go over a couple of quick tips that are quite handy when using a Max Orc. So the heal from Hardened Ward is fantastic, and while you've got the Hardened Ward up, you have at least typically about 2 seconds of survivability, and it's a good time to cast your Dark Deal on the back bar. Just be aware that Dark Deal can be interrupted, so what you can do instead is use your immovability pot, and then that gives you the ability to Dark Deal without fear of being bashed or being hit by a stray Force Pulse. Try and keep your Hurricane up at all times. You want to see those 2 yellow buffs on your buff bar. That's what gives you the sustain that you need on this build, and without that your sustain can suffer a bit, but you've got a very large max Magicka pool, which means that you will very seldom be running out of stats completely. Against very tanky targets, what you want to ideally be doing is building up your ultimate with Overload, and what you can do is you can switch to Overload and then go to your front bar, and you can do a lot of damage like this. And then what you can also do is when the curse is about to go, you can actually do an Overload Dawnbreaker, and that will use up the rest of your ultimate, but in that single global cooldown, you'll have cast an Overload Light attack as well as the Dawnbreaker's damage as well. And Overload on our front bar, you know, the tooltip of Overload is at least as big as our spammables, so that's an incredible amount of damage that's going in very, very quickly. Okay, quickly looking at the champion points as well, we are running Focused Mending, Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, and Arcane Supremacy. And in the Retry we're running Boundless Vitality, Pain's Refuge, Bastion, and Celerity. Grand. Thanks for watching. That's the Magsorc build. It's incredibly powerful. It's very easy to play, and yeah, sometimes when you're tired or you just want to have an easy time in Cyrodiil or BGs, it's the perfect thing to just hop onto. It's getting a slight adjustment next patch. We're losing a bit of hardened board health regen, but we're not losing out on the size of the damage shield at all. Magsorc will still stay as busted as it is right now. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll include some gameplay of a BG or something like that. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.